He chose my bully over me. I had no choice but to get an abortion. Shocking decision. The night I got drunk, I somehow ended up in Caleb's hotel room. One reckless encounter, and I found out I was pregnant. As I tried to leave, Caleb, who'd always hated me, grabbed my arm and said, "No matter who you are, I'll find you and take responsibility." His words stuck with me. I had secretly loved him for years. When I saw the positive pregnancy test, I thought maybe, just maybe, this was my chance. Maybe he'd finally come for me. But he didn't. Instead, I saw him back with Nina, the same girl who had tormented me in school. Caleb mocked me, saying, "Nina, look, I told you she still likes me. It's fucking hilarious," he sneered. "She still clings to my family, just like her dead two-faced mom." That was it. I couldn't take it anymore. I had an abortion and booked a flight out of the country, but Caleb lost it. His hair turned white, and he searched for me everywhere. At 3 a.m., I found myself at the address he'd given me. When the door opened, he stood there with that cruel smile of his. "I knew you'd still come," he said smugly. Before I could respond, a woman appeared behind him, wearing nothing but lingerie. "See?" Caleb mocked. "This bitch still likes me, wants to commit incest. It's disgusting." The woman giggled. "Caleb, you're so bad." That's when I realized Caleb and Nina had played me. I was just part of their sick game. Exhausted, I tried to leave, but Caleb shoved a black bag into my hands. "Open it," he said coldly. Inside were snakes. Dozens of them. I screamed and dropped the bag. The snakes slithered out, some coiling and ready to strike. Caleb stood over me, smirking. "You posted about Nina bullying you? Consider this a lesson. Next time it won't be so simple." He added, "Nina's about to debut as a star, so whatever fights you had with her, keep them buried. Got it?" I couldn't believe it. Caleb had once taken me to see a psychologist after what Nina did to me, and now suddenly it was all just little fights. I saw the truth then. Caleb was threatening me, making sure I wouldn't get in the way of Nina's future. Caleb never liked me, but I never thought he'd go this far for her. Suddenly pain ripped through my abdomen, and I curled up on the floor, clutching my stomach. "Please call an ambulance," I begged, my voice trembling. Nina, wrapped in Caleb's arms, laughed cruelly. "A little stomach pain, and you need an ambulance? Still playing the innocent act?" Her words stung. Like mother, like daughter. Those two-faced genes must be hereditary. For a moment I thought Caleb might show concern, but instead his face twisted in hate. "Just like your dead two-faced mother. So cheap." He wrapped his arm around Nina and went upstairs, tossing a snake at me before leaving. "You naughty boy, come here and kiss me," Nina cooed. The snake slithered across my skin, and I blacked out. When I woke up, I learned I'd had a D&C. My hand instinctively went to my abdomen. The child I had once hoped for was now gone. The emptiness in my body mirrored the emptiness in my heart. The doctor sighed. "We found several snake bites on you, but luckily, none were venomous. Do you need us to call the police?" I shook my head. There was no point. Years ago, Caleb had stood up for me when Nina tormented me. He'd smashed a chair over Nina's head, yelling, "Lily isn't someone you can just bully. Don't be shameless." It was the first time I ever felt safe. But now, Caleb was back with Nina, and they had destroyed the one thing I had left, our child. I realized then that my infatuation with Caleb had to end. After the doctor left, I called overseas. "I've made up my mind. I want to study with you." "Are you sure? It's a tough road," the voice on the other end said. I placed a hand on my abdomen and let the tears fall. "I'm sure. There's no one left here." Then Caleb texted, "There's a dinner for Nina tonight. It's all men, so it's not safe for her. You go to her place." For the first time, I didn't reply. Half an hour later, Caleb called. "Lily, you're really testing my patience. How dare you ignore my message?" "I'm not feeling well," I whispered. His laugh was dark. "Not coming? Fine. Then forget about your mother's ashes. Should I scatter them in a dung pit or sewer?" His words hit like a punch. I clenched my fists, trying to hold back the tears. The day my mother was cremated, Caleb had watched in silence. Then he took her urn and said, "If you're so upset, I'll hold on to it for you." I thought he was being kind, but the moment the urn was in his hands, his face changed. "You're such a fool. You'll do whatever I say or I'll scatter your mother's ashes like they're nothing."